Welcome. Welcome and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. My name is Indus Khaitan, founder and CEO of Redblock. Right now, I'm dialing in from Denver. It's sunny outside, kind of drizzly weather yesterday as we flew in, but fantastic day. With me is our guest, Santhana Krishnasami, VP Product Platform Ecosystem at Saviynt, and my colleague Apurva, product manager at Redblock. We're also joined by Kritika, product manager at Saviynt, to help us with some of the logistics and questions. So, Santhan and Apurva, great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Indus.
Thanks.
We have a very interesting topic, and we've been discussing this almost last 18 months at Redblock, adding identity governance to apps that are left behind. Typically these are called disconnected apps. Disconnected means that apps that do not have APIs, but sometimes you could use similar words: orphan apps, unmanaged apps, anything that does not have any programmatic interface. That's what qualifies as disconnected apps. So, briefly about Redblock in 30 seconds. We are an AI native product that works with existing IT and security infrastructure with a very simple vision. How can we use AI to boost identity security and compliance? We are venture backed and based out of San Francisco Bay Area. We'll spend the next 30 minutes distilling this topic of adding governance to disconnected apps. We'll do a live demo where we'll bring a disconnected app. We are taking OpenAI, proverbial great example. We're taking OpenAI for instant governance in Saviynt. Feel free to queue up your questions in the Q&A box at the top of your or on the right of your Zoom window. We will take the questions as we go, but we'll also do a Q&A towards the end. There is an urgency brewing that identity-based attacks now dominate cybercrime. Attackers are simply logging in. They are no longer dropping malware and attempting to breach your firewall to get into your applications and data. If you see my screen, a report by CrowdStrike that was released earlier this year pegs this number at 79%, which basically means a large quantity of such attacks are directly adversaries logging into our applications. Now, if you extrapolate this trend, 9 out of 10 attacks would be malware free. And this is the warning sign. And with growing number of apps, this is a minefield for IT and InfoSec to manage. If you look at some of the publicly disclosed cybersecurity incidents of the last 9 to 12 months, you will see one common theme. Attackers simply logged in using stolen credentials as the point of entry. Very, very intriguing. Midnight Blizzard, low and slow password spray attack on a non-production legacy tenant infrastructure. Change Healthcare, stolen credentials. Snowflake, valid username and password to get into staging account of a production copy of a very popular retailer in the United States. So you see this theme emerging: no malware, attackers simply logging in. The number of breaches have gone up, as you've noticed, more chatter, more disclosures, more mandates by the government. Now, why is this happening? We went from a network-centric world where a firewall will surround your infrastructure, segment your network, to hundreds of apps living either on-prem or on cloud or partner applications on somebody else's cloud, where protecting apps and data is absolutely wild, wild west. Now, traditionally, identity tools would be used to govern a handful of applications, and this is the evolution of the last decade or so. But the increasing volume of apps is breaking security and compliance. Even small and mid-sized companies have hundreds of apps. We are a team of 15 and we have 40 plus applications that are used on a very regular basis. With larger orgs, this is like thousands of applications, commercial, non-commercial, departmental, centralized by IT. But before I dig deeper into how Redblock solves this, I'm going to invite Santhana, our guest speaker from Saviynt, to share his perspective and talk about identity security and share his vision and Saviynt's vision of security and identity combined as one. Santhana, over to you.
Thanks, Indus. Hello, folks. Good morning. My name is Santhana Krishnasami. I am VP of Product for Saviynt Platform Ecosystem. I am based in San Francisco Bay Area. Today, I'm really excited to join our amazing technology partner, Redblock, in this webinar. And a special thanks to Indus, whom I have known for more than, I should say, 15 years now. In his previous startups as well. And also Apurva, again, thanks for inviting me to speak in this webinar. Let's go to the next slide, please. So a little bit of the background about Saviynt. So we are Saviynt, the leading identity security cloud in the marketplace, helping many large enterprises and Fortune 500 companies with their identity governance challenges. We support fine-grained application entitlements and full lifecycle management capabilities that are powered by leading AI technologies. In fact, recently during our RSA conference, we launched two of our latest products. One is ISPM, which is Identity Security Posture Management, and just-in-time access for applications. I would really urge you to go and check out on our Saviynt website. Our governance and security capabilities transfers across internal, external, and non-human identities. As you can see in this high-level architecture, we are truly a converged, comprehensive cloud with FedRAMP compliance. We are a global company having customers worldwide, customers such as AXA, MasterCard, Netflix, BP, Coupang, Geico, Warner Brothers. They all rely on Saviynt for their identity governance and compliance. We are headquarters in LA, roughly around 1,200 employees, 200 million in revenue. We have almost 100% growth every 2 years. And we globally protect 60 million identities, and that is growing a lot. Can we go to the next slide, please? Having talked about Saviynt, I also want to briefly mention about, what's the relationship between Saviynt and Redblock. So we, as Saviynt, we have this great identity security platform, but not everything we can solve. We definitely want partners such as Redblock to come and fill some of the gaps which we have, all the adjacent domains. So we have Saviynt Exchange. This is a partner program and a marketplace. This is really built to develop our ecosystem where any partner can come and build application and solutions using the Saviynt Identity Cloud and actually distribute their apps and solutions to our customers. So what does Saviynt Exchange consist? It consists of marketplace where we have apps and solutions. It has a partner program, a rich set of ecosystem partners such as technology or ISV partners, or SI or reseller partners who are actually building solutions and distributing the apps to the customers. We also have a developer ecosystem, which consists of API document resources, developer portals, and we really encourage community developers to come and build apps and integrations. Today, we have roughly around 3,000 plus apps, which is also largely enabled by our partners available in our marketplace, and 50 plus solutions built by our SI partners. So what are the benefits we see having this Saviynt Exchange ecosystem? Primarily for our customers, it's really time to value, where we are not directly solving the use cases and integration, but it's also enhanced by our partners. Tech partners such as Redblock, so they can use Saviynt Exchange as a distribution channel to reach our customers. And then for us, tech partners and SI partners, they unlock adjacent use cases. And then this is going to increase our customer satisfaction and retention. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So this is just in a very high level overview of how our ecosystem of partners, apps, and integrations kind of listed. Uh, the core thing for us is we have a lot of building blocks or SDKs, anywhere from our REST connected database, LDAP connectors, Active Directory, and also we have REST APIs. We have a Node.js SDK. So these are all the building blocks any of our developers can take and build connectors and integrations. We also work with a lot of our strategic partners such as AWS, SAP, Microsoft, ServiceNow, and Workday. These are all the partners very, very key for Saviynt success. So we also sell our products through their marketplace. As you can see, the third-party marketplaces. Like our products are listed in AWS, Azure, and ServiceNow. In fact, ServiceNow App Store, we have a ServiceNow app. And of course, with Workday and other, like there are special verticals such as Epic and Splunk. We have a rich set of technology partners. Currently, we got like 50 plus technology partners, like IDM Works in the mainframes, Redblocks, solving the last mile integration problem. Chronosis, they actually have a Slack block integration. And then, companies such as Aquera, Credence IA, and Serbi. We also have a large set of SI partners building solutions and also helping our customers implement Saviynt Identity Cloud, anywhere from Deloitte, Accenture, KPMG, and also some of the resellers such as Optiv and Grant Thornton and HCL Tech is again as an implementation partners. So we have a rich ecosystem of partners who are helping us to grow. And I think this is a nice segue back to Indus, the great partnership we have started with Redblock in solving the last mile integration problem. So I will let Indus to kind of take over from here. Thank you.
Thanks, Santhana, and thanks for the partnership. Appreciate all the help that your team has given us in building this relationship, building the connectors, and taking to market. I have a couple of questions based on what you just described. What are you hearing from customers as core issues around identity?
Yeah, that's a great question. We definitely have customers asking for a lot of capabilities and features. As you know, what we started as an IGA product, became an identity security. So we had both external identity capabilities, managing them. We have PAM, Privileged Access Management solution. We expanded into application access governance, really fine-grained entitlement for apps. Now we are also expanding into ISPM type capabilities. But specifically coming back to real issues which customers have is, as you know, we have large enterprise customers who have thousands of apps. We cannot solve integration connectors to each and every one of those apps. We have built integration for the kind of the 80-20% rule, the 20% of apps, like 80% of enterprises use, so that's we have solved. And then, we also have a community of developers who have built integration kind of in a one-off for a lot of SaaS apps. But there is still a large amount of on-prem disconnected legacy apps our customers have. Those are something which we're really looking for what we call the last mile integration partners to come and solve. I think, Redblock was a very important key role there. So that's one key gap which we have. And that is something we constantly ask. We get requests from customers, hey, I need integration for this specific app. How do I solve that? And we cannot go and build a connector for each and every one of them. That's where the ecosystem need to come and play a role.
Got it. And one last one from you is, a lot of the workflows are also IT tickets driven, manual processes, and flat files. What do you hear from customers around these?
Yeah, so that's a great thing. I mean, it's really a human cost there, for them to manage that. They look for automation. Really, how do we automate that in a seamless way? I think that's the type of solution they expect. We do have part of our app discovery and onboarding. We have capabilities where we support. But again, we give the flexibility for customers to go and bring in any apps they want, but there is a good amount of what they need to do using some of our default connectors. But anything we can automate, make it a shorter time frame, quickly for them to onboard, and that's a great help. One of the challenges, actually, I'll also talk a little bit about the discovery side. A lot of our customers don't even know what apps they have. So that is probably the first thing to start with. Once you discover, hey, these are all the apps, which my employees are using, then comes in, how do I onboard and do a full life cycle management of identities.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Santhana. We'll come back to you for more questions, and I'll pick this up and then show a couple of things and live demo around it. In fact, to pick some nuggets from you, Santhana, you know, identity and governance and many of these human-driven workflows has become essentially a ticket-driven process. You talked about ServiceNow integration. A lot of last mile work is somebody going into ServiceNow and picking that ticket up and getting the work done, exporting data from CSV files. And it's a huge amount of manual process to do the governance onslaught. If the number of apps are 10, fine, but if it's 1,000, it becomes a pain point. And this manual process basically leaves both gaps in compliance and security. And we've seen this from our own discussions with uh, customers and polling potential users. It takes hours, if not days, to complete the simplest of the identity automation and simplest of the identity workflow. And this is where Redblock comes in. This is why we built this, that identity security for apps that are orphaned, unmanaged, and disconnected from identity system, and typically driven by tickets or human process, and many times not even onboarded because it's going to take a couple of months to build a connector. Hey, let's do it later. We're gonna manage it manually. So Redblock works with existing IAM, IGA infrastructure, PAM, and NHI tools. We are AI native, 100% bred in AI. We publish papers and a lot of groundbreaking research that is happening in how we solve the problem. We come in the middle. So if you contrast this on this particular chart from top to bottom, so we come in the middle and you replace this manual swivel chair process to finish what is repetitive and sometimes even complex identity security task, and then do that in minutes. And this would have taken hours, if not never, to get this done. So we are not another dashboard. We do not replace any identity infrastructure that you already have. We do not replace your IT ticketing tool. So let's say if you have ServiceNow, we'll pick that piece from the IT ticketing tool, and we work alongside and sit alongside your existing IT infrastructure. So no changes to existing workflow that are already configured, and we'll show you live how we can get this done in Saviynt. And let's jump into this and see this in action on Saviynt Identity Cloud. But before I pass the baton to Apurva, just a quick setup for the demo. So we'll show you an integration of a disconnected app, in this case, OpenAI, as you see on the right. OpenAI added onto Saviynt Identity Cloud, which you see the box on the left. And then in the middle is the Redblock AI agent. And then we'll run an account aggregation job. Apurva is going to show us how it is configured. We'll run an account aggregation job and finally remove a user account from OpenAI using Savient's native access request workflow. And that's the beauty of this. And for people in the audience, if you're wondering how this works, and we have glossed over the inner workings of the AI, but this will give you a high level view of Saviynt to Redblock. It's REST APIs, Redblock to the downstream app. It's a headless browser over AI agents. So we're going to talk about this in subsequent call. With that, Apurva, passing the baton, please show us.
Quick audio and video check. Am I audible? Can you see my screen, folks? Yep. Hello, folks. I'm Apoorv. I'm part of the product team at Redblock. I welcome you all to this webinar. So as mentioned, we'll start with part one, which includes how do we integrate any disconnected application within Saviynt environment. And as mentioned, we'll use OpenAI. It's a great example, an application which does not offer SCIM APIs for user management. To begin with, it starts with Redblock sharing an API key with you. You use this API key to create a connection within Saviynt environment. Let's see how that looks like.
And one
Um,
point I want to add, we have already trained the OpenAI app for the Redblock infrastructure where AI agents have learned the identity automation behavior, and that's the API key we are starting with. So there's a step before Saviynt and Redblock and OpenAI is the training of the identity workflow on the OpenAI app, which is an AI studio that we have behind the scenes. And post that, you add this onto Saviynt Identity Cloud. Go ahead, Apur.
Yep. So as you can see, we have pre-configured all key identity operations, create account, import access, remove account, so on and so forth. This is the step one. The next step includes creating a security system. Now, as you would know, a security system acts as a bridge between a connection and your target application. So we have done those configurations here. Uh, and the last step is creating an endpoint. An endpoint is synonymous to your application, case in point OpenAI. We have pre-configured all of these. And this is the place where you can see all the accounts, all the entitlements from your target application in your Saviynt instance. So there's the place, there's the final step. This brings us to the end of part one. So there's simple. Now let's move on to part two, wherein you'll see all of these working out for us, which includes account and role aggregation. That would mean that we'll pull all accounts and all roles from our target application, which is OpenAI, back to a Saviynt environment. To do that, we have configured a couple of jobs. I'll take you through those jobs here.
And Apurva, you're showing us OpenAI snapshot, a live example.
Absolutely. So as you see, we have three job operations here, one to import access, the other one to import account, and one for triggering jobs. Before I trigger import account, what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you through two screens. Number one is OpenAI screen. This is the user management console of OpenAI. What you see here is 7 users.
And it
Now,
would be hundreds instead of 7. Every employee that is, every developer that is working using an OpenAI infrastructure, giving out keys, giving out access, will be on that page.
that's correct. The second screen, what I'm going to show you is the endpoint that we created, which is for OpenAI. And what you see here is 6 user. So this means there's a missing user here. The target application and Saviynt is out of sync. And let's just try and see like if we can bring back the missing user from OpenAI back to a Saviynt system. And to do that, I'm going to trigger this job operation, which is import account.
So this is going to be live. My fingers are crossed, and we will see those API calls happening, and then the additional user will be populated in Saviynt.
Let me just go back to the screen here. There are 6 users. I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to filter out the inactive users. Yeah, that's it. There's the missing one, Trudy. So as you've seen, there was a missing user in our Saviynt instance, and we triggered an account and role aggregation process to bring back that missing user back to a system. These jobs could be auto-configured, or you could manually trigger it within your Saviynt system. We'll also quickly look through the entitlement. We see owner and leader, and these are the roles which are present in OpenAI. So those are here. Now this brings us to the end of part two. Now comes the last part. Now what we'll do, we'll deprovision a user on OpenAI, of course, using Saviynt environment. Let's see.
And this is
So
very, very powerful, what Purva just showed, right? So account aggregation is a big deal. Otherwise, moved using flat files. Click of a button on Saviynt using the job control feature. and the users are synced. And it could be instantaneous every hour, it could be on demand, automatically synced, so that then you could run your rest of the workflows. Back to you, Apurva.
Yep. So now let's pick a user. Let's pick up Trudy. Let's imagine hypothetically, unfortunately, Trudy decides to move on and take up other opportunities out in the world. Now that brings up a task for our IT team. That would mean that deprovisioning all resource access that Trudy has, including OpenAI. And how do we do that? With Redblock and Saviynt in picture, that's simple. All I would do is to get back to the Saviynt system, go back to the home screen, request removal access for Trudy. Now, if you see from a Saviynt user perspective, there's nothing new that I'm doing. I'm going to click on the user.
Sometimes I fear that, because hey, what's new you're showing? Because this is the screen I'm very familiar with. And that's the part that we are very proud of. All of the legwork that AI does, the complexity is immense, but totally hidden behind the scenes. It is just a usual API call from Saviynt to downstream. The legwork is behind the scenes. Go ahead, Apurva.
Yep. I'm at the final stage. I'm making a confirmation. So that's it. We have received, Redblock has received a signal from Saviynt to remove Trudy from the target application, which is OpenAI. Usually it takes like 30 to 90 seconds to perform this operation. And as Indus mentioned, somewhere like in our data center in Virginia, a swarm of AI agents have woken up. They are doing those operations.
Yep. With that, thanks, Apurva. I'll take the control back, finish the rest of the couple of slides, and then answer any questions that you have. So I'm going to start sharing again. Let me know if you see my screen. Sometimes switching back and forth is not an easy thing here.
We can see your screen in this.
All right, awesome. So recapping what Apurva just showed, we connected OpenAI, which is typically a disconnected app, no SCIM support, no provisioning, deprovisioning. We connected OpenAI onto Saviynt using the Redblock infrastructure. Very natural set of configuration steps, and we performed those three things. And of course, account and role aggregation, we clicked a button and all the users were synced from OpenAI. And then we did the removal process where Trudy, proverbially leaving the org, and within Saviynt, we did an access request, completed that workflow. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. So I see there is a question. Let me see if I can answer now, or we could queue up later. So the
Kritika
question
is answering. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Kritika, thank you so much. So I'll keep making progress here while Kritika is answering. So key piece here is no IT tickets, no slow SLAs, no flat files, just instant governance on Saviynt Identity Cloud. Now, Redblock's AI completes these tasks on every web app, from commercial to internal portals to your corporate banking site to government filing sites and apps built 20 years ago, and even modern apps. So commercial SaaS, of course, we do that. The biggest thing is a lot of admin consoles of hardware devices, CCTV cameras, alarm systems are disconnected. They're not part of identity systems, or there's no single sign-on. Redblock will do exactly the same thing what Apurva just showed, even for those applications. Here's what customers see once we are live. And this is the ROI slide. Onboarding hundreds of apps that would take 2 to 3 years could be completed in 1/3 of the original projected time. And of course, huge amount of savings that you have to, hire someone, get the job done if you're anyway planning to do it. And then manual ticket queues drop by more than 80%. So you don't have to wait for somebody to respond for mundane and repetitive. The AI agents do the task. And previously disconnected apps, they come under governance to produce evidence on demand. What we saw is click of a button, we have all the roles and all the users synced on demand within Saviynt Identity Cloud. And the biggest one that we don't talk about enough is the security posture gets a strong boost. And this is tying in back to the CrowdStrike report where adversaries are logging in. With the deep connectivity between Saviynt Identity Cloud and Redblock and downstream apps, you could remove local accounts almost instantaneously. So this is my last slide. We are almost at time, 30 minutes or so. So Redblock supercharges Saviynt Identity Cloud, onboarding hundreds of apps that once took years or never to integrate in less than a day. Contact us at redblock.ai. We have some questions that we'll answer, but thank you all for being here on this lovely Wednesday morning here in Denver. Santhana is in San Francisco Bay Area, and Apurva is joining from Bangalore, and Krutika, thank you for joining from India as well. So we have some questions queuing in, Santhana.
Yeah, I think looks like Kritika has answered them. First of all, Apurva and Indus, thank you. It's a great demo and a great value prop and a great partnership between both companies, solving the last mile integration and disconnected app challenge. Really, you guys are helping our customers to onboard apps much more faster and quicker, and also get into real identity governance. Yeah, I think that's it's really great. I don't know if anyone have any other questions. We are happy to answer, but I know
Kritika has answered you, and
I think Rohit has a question. Maybe Indus, you can take that.
let me see. I can't see it for some reason.
So let me read the question. Do AI agents use external LLM to carry out ops?
No, so great question. So this is all internal. So we have trained the model, we have fine-tuned it, and it runs almost on-prem in our own private cloud at AWS and a couple of other GPU as a service vendors with full capability to run it on-prem as an air-gapped instance. In fact, at RSA, we wheeled a GPU cluster where we're showing some of these identity flows live, and we're planning to do the same thing for Identiverse. So it could run as multi-tenant SaaS on Redblock's cloud. It could run in a customer's own data center, which is 100% on-prem, or it could run on their dedicated instance on Azure or AWS.
Thank you. So I think there is another question from Sri Krishna. Does it support non-web apps?
Great question, Sri Krishna. Currently, we do not support non-web apps. If your non-web apps can be streamed as a frame buffer or as an image, like a remote desktop within a browser, then yes. It does not need to be an HTML app if it is in a browser. So old school, let's say you have a mainframe. If the mainframe can be proxied in a browser, then absolutely yes. We have a roadmap item where we'll build something for desktop, which is around 6 to 9 months from now. Right now, anything that can be accessed in a browser, that's what we support.
I think that is thanks, Indus. There is another question from Ankar. Your thoughts on integrating the agents using A2A MCP instead of REST? What challenges do you foresee?
I think it's a great question for you, Santhana, because
yes,
currently it's all REST APIs, but proverbially it could be an MCP server in between.
Yeah, I think that's great. We are certainly looking into A2A and MCP, and we will. This is something which we are definitely considering, and then we will update the team, as and when we kind of roll out and support these capabilities. I would also recommend, if you are feel free to use our idea portal to send us all these new capabilities and ideas, enhancements you have. We will definitely include them as we are building and enhancing our platform.
Got it. Awesome. That's all we will take at this moment. Almost 5 minutes over time, but thank you so much, Santhana, for coming online with us today. And It was a fantastic journey for the last 4 months where the team has been working together with your team. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for inviting us. I think it's a great to see the demo working and all the interesting questions coming from prospects and customers.
All right. Take care. Have a great one, all of you. Thank you for joining the webinar. We'll have a recording and we'll send this to everybody who's registered.
Thank you, team.